10 years since Brexit, and delighted to welcome our next guest to discuss, well, the past 10 years, but perhaps the next 10 and the direction of travel for the UK in Europe. But Michel Barnier joins us, of course, the former chief Brexit negotiator, former Prime Minister of France. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Before we get on to the Brexit stuff, I just want to, we were just talking about the situation in Downing Street with Lucy. What is the view from Europe of our political situation and the lack of stability at the moment?
Well, I don't want to comment domestic policy in the UK. I never comment on this politics. But let me just say that I have a great respect for Keir Starmer. We met several times during the negotiations, long negotiations for the Brexit, and also when I was the French Prime Minister 2 years ago. And the only thing I want to address is to wish the best for the UK people and for UK.
Do you see us as less reliable a partner than previously?
Less what?
Reliable.
I don't want to comment. In any case, whatever happens in UK with the new Prime Minister, I hope we will be able, taking and respecting the Brexit and the condition of the Brexit, which is done. The Brexit for us is on the book. We will be able to build a new relation in many issues, facing many challenges, security, stability of Europe, supporting Ukraine, fighting against terrorism, perhaps cooperation in many fields, IA or new technologies, and perhaps also cooperation in Africa. I think there is so many challenges we must face together instead to be alone. Huh?
But you said there, for you, for the Europeans, Brexit is done, it's decided. Do you think...
For you it's done.
For us it's done, you're saying?
Sure, it was your choice, not our choice. Huh?
Right, so but do you think the EU would welcome the UK back?
The door is open. The door is open. In any case, everybody in Europe regrets the Brexit. And in fact, 10 years after, I can repeat that the Brexit has been and it still is a lose-lose game. Much more for UK than for us, probably, but it is a lose-lose game. But it's done, huh?
Do you think, because there's a lot of debate about this, do you think that the UK would be offered the same similar positive terms that it had previously, whether we're talking about Schengen or rebates or the single currency?
I don't speak about rebate, but as far as Schengen is concerned, and UK will remain in Ireland, so it's a specific situation, and the same specific situation for the currency. I think apart these 2 points where we can work, it is a personal view. I think we can work on this basis, yes. But for all the rest and the condition of the single market, everybody knows in UK what are the conditions to rejoin. No?
Which I think you know better than anyone, and made sure our negotiators were aware of over many years successfully. What about the shape of the EU going forward? Because I guess there's two kind of competing narratives. On one level, does the Eurozone need to have full capital markets unification, a much deeper relationship than perhaps the UK ever sort of wanted to be a part of? On the same level, is there a sort of two-speed membership that might emerge in the years ahead in a way that the UK might welcome it? What do you see as the shape of the EU in 5 to 10 years' time?
But the UK is now outside, huh? And the city is outside. So independently of what happened with the UK, I think we need to build what I began to build 10 years ago when I was European Commissioner for the Financial Services, to build a European capital market. It's necessary, and we have so many. But I don't think there is two-speed Europe. We are, frankly speaking, since 15 years we have faced several crises, existential crises. The financial crisis, 2008 and 10, the Brexit crisis, the migration crisis, the COVID crisis, the pandemic, and also more recently the aggression of Russia against one European country. So, and if you look at what happened facing each of these challenges and crises, we still face this crisis. We remain together, and I think we draw the lessons.
Does the EU sometimes lack dynamism to respond to some of these issues?
Lack dynamism?
Is it too slow to respond sometimes? Too bureaucratic?
Yes, there's always progress to make against the bureaucracy, but in any case, the management of Europe will remain complex because we are not a nation. We do not want to be a nation. There is not a single state. There is not a single people. We work with and we live with 24 different languages, and each of us want to keep his national identity. So it's always complex to pool and to make these 27 countries working together. But it's okay.
I think it's fair to say that there's only minor movements rather than majority movements in most member states now for anybody to leave the EU, perhaps because of the example of the UK. That said, I think it's also fair to say politics isn't stable in many European countries, including in France. Do you fear a growing movement in France, depending on the result of the next presidential election, to challenge European integration?
I don't think nobody wanted to follow what you called yourself the British example. I don't think the Brexit is an example for us. But the Brexit had reasons and had consequences and lessons to draw. But it's clear that we face the same increasing movement of the populism and the nationalists in every country, in particular in France, where we can face a situation next year for the presidential election where at the second round we have two candidates, one of the far right, one of the far left. So it's exactly what we want to avoid. But one of the lessons I draw from the Brexit is that we need to address the popular feeling, and the popular feeling are the same everywhere. So, but the second point is that we need to explain, which we have not done in UK for the referendum, that all the solutions, all the answers are not in Brussels. A part of the answer for the popular feeling in your country and in our country also is not in Brussels. A part of the solution at the local level, for instance, for health, or transportation, at the national level for migration, for instance. So we need to tell the truth to the people. All the answers are not in Brussels. Brussels cannot be a scapegoat, as it was for Farage and some others in the UK.
Just finally, what is the view of the United States now in France and in the EU?
It is the very first time for the last 60 years when the US president, the president of the United States, is clearly against the European project, the very first time. So we have to respect this position, perhaps to not forget the perspective that the current administration in the US is not forever. In 3 or 4 years, Mr. Trump will be over and the United States will be there. And still there. So we need to maintain the islands. The islands does not mean allegiance, and to look where we must be less dependent for our security, for our food, for our energy. This is the lessons of the aggression of Putin against Ukraine, and it is a lesson of the new attitude of the US today.
Michel Barnier, thank you so much for joining us. Lovely to see you.